I am very stoked for what this game is about to show. Onto the tech, onto Thamus. We've got June that we're playing onto the Benedetta all the way at the top lane. Jay onto that Luo Yi middle lane together with Adamir as the Bruno. And finally Sky Yutong all the way down at the bottom lane. While for Notorious villains, we're going to be looking at Colia playing as Rafaela together with Yves as well as Granger, played by Fenrir and Suna respectively. Up top, we'll be looking at Dara playing as the Uranus and finally Cho onto by MPL.
Well, it looks like you're right, Abstract. It's going to be June, very surprisingly, actually taking the fighter emblem onto their mid lane itself, but it seems that June and Ken, they got an idea. They want to go in for the early kill onto the Uranus, but Dara, he seems to be aware of what's going on and they are not going to pick off that early first blood onto Dara.
I think that Almghty is just kind of working around and trying out new stuff here because of how the previous game worked out for them, whereby they just deployed that Thamus right into the Notorious villains' faces, and Notorious villains doesn't even dare to fight back. And I think that they are changing their playstyle, changing their pick according to how Notorious villains play, because they have pretty much conditioned Notorious villains to run away at the sight of a Thamus with Corridor and Inferno. And thus, Ken is able to do exactly as what a tank's role is, and that is to disrupt the enemy lines and just soak up damage while, kind of changing the pace of the game.
Yeah, but it looks like right now at the bottom lane itself, 3 members strong. Almghty wants to go in to gank onto Almghty, but it seems like backup coming in from Fenrir as well as Suna, Granger and Rafaela coming in. Will they get the first blood onto Adamir? They pop in and it seems like, yes, one more hit will do the trick of first blood going to Adamir.
It does seem like Almghty is going to be continuously throwing some bodies into the mix, but unfortunately it does seem like Sky will be able to successfully take 1 kill for himself. A little bit of a trade back and forth. Unfortunately, the Electo final blow coming in from June did not pretty much land on anyone and continuously just throwing in bodies over and over again over to the side of Notorious villains, ending up with a 2-3 kind of trade at this moment.
Yeah, but right now the turtle is being spawned in the bottom lane itself. Both of the carries died once. And Suna, it seems that we'll be able to rotate a bit faster this time round. We'll be able to gank onto the turtle pit itself. And it's going to be a turtle going to Notorious villains.
June proxying up in the top lane, going to be going for a 1v1 fight against Abuse. And it does seem like the Sword Art Strike coming in from June. He's just making full use of that to work with all forms of mobility. He can just get himself from top lane all the way down to bottom lane in no time. And it also pretty much means that he will be getting himself into action to go for easy fights pretty darn easily. But at this state of mind, at this state of time, Almghty is currently having their back against the wall. They have to react accordingly to how Notorious villains is playing as. And I think that the way that they have been moving around together as NV is looking pretty darn good. In the meantime, it does seem like Suna did manage to get himself a single kill right on himself. The Death Sonata and Rhapsody just going to be wrapping himself right onto the side of Almghty. And just like that, we are getting quite a bit of kills in favor for the side of Notorious villains. We're looking at a 3-kill spree coming in from Notorious villains, and Yves is just putting whatever he can, full of magical damage with the real-world manipulation, to the point that I can't even see that short little burst of magical surge was actually from Yves.
You see what's going on? It's like Yves is actually using the ultimate and Jay doesn't want to go back. I mean, he should have backed off from the turret itself because Yves is actually outing on him and he chose to stay there for some...
Juke out or something like that.
Well, I mean, he should have backed off.
Yeah, it really should. Because we know that real manipulation does have, in some sense, a smaller AoE as we would expect from like Fasa's Feathered Airstrike, right? Especially there is a small amount of delay in the use of real manipulation. And once you get yourself out of the turret, you're not under the effect of Yves anymore.
Yeah, and right now in the mid lane itself, Ken is in the mid bush itself, but it's being scouted out by Colia and he has to back up. I think he's just giving vision for his team itself. And Bruno, Adamir playing on the Bruno, has to farm up 0-2-2 currently.
I'm not too sure how this is going to work out in terms of the objective. The turtle is pretty much stuck inside of the Sakuras, and just nothing that the turtle can do. The turtle will still go down, and it does seem like the rest of the team fight is just going to be ensuing from the side of Almghty versus Notorious Villains. And right in the middle of the fight, we are looking at a pause. Once again, really out of position. This is going to be quite a throw over for the side of for both. I think the Explorer is able to bring something on the table.
Well, we are back into the game. Hopefully, third time is the charm as we go in. Almghty trying to zone off onto the Yuzhong, and a really good play by Almghty playing on the Cho. Surprisingly, manages to queue off, onto Sky, which is playing on the Yuzhong.
I was thinking that, oh, Jun, that was a very ballsy move, especially, well, there is a lot of Notorious Villains players just right around, but I think that he pretty much understands that as a Benedetta, he do have a lot of mobility around. He's not too afraid of anything else, especially since Notorious Villains doesn't really have a lot of CC control, any form of CC. The only kind of CC that I can think and imagine is going to be Abused, that is playing as a Cho, and previously before he's already used his Way of the Dragon. So Benedetta, not that scary. I mean Benedetta is not that scared in overextending.
Yep, right now in the bottom lane itself, 3-man strong Notorious Villains managed to get another tower. Dara is just trying to fight the members of Almghty, just wasting the time in the top lane itself. But the lanes are going to be pushed with the side of Adamir is going to be split, pushing onto the top lane itself. The Black Dragon being popped by Sky, trying to zone out members of Notorious Villains, and Sky is going to back off.
This is really unfortunate, right? Almghty has been putting quite a lot of effort and resources over to the top lane, and the only thing that they are able to get is one turret, and they are not even to be able to bring down Dara that is playing onto the Uranus. We know how tanky Uranus is, and he's doing exactly his job. Just try to repel the enemies as far away as possible, as much as possible, and of course, stay alive. Almghty, they just can't go online just yet. They don't have the damage to do so just yet, and Abuse is just doing whatever that he needs to do. The Way of the Dragon is really well timed over to the side of Ken. They have isolated over the tank, which is Ken, and there is really nothing much that Almghty can do. 1-1. I'm calling it. Notorious Villains is doing a little bit too well in this early stage.
Yeah, but I agree with you, and Almghty playing on the Cho really kicking off the central members onto Almghty, and it seems like a fight going in onto the top lane, and this time round Benedetta is not going to get out.
Electro Final Blow literally does not do any damage over to the side of Fenrir. They are very underleveled, or rather very undervalued. They don't have much to work with to fight against Notorious Villains, and whatever that they've been working with has always been a split, a 2-3 split, 2-2 split if you may. And they're just unable to bring down Notorious Villains despite picking up Execute on June as well as Sky. They literally can't get kills. They don't have enough damage to get the pillars down. They can't close it out. And that is very sad to see, as MPL immediately jumps right in with the Flicker as well as a Way of Dragon, immediately bring down Ken and Adamir. With 3 men left coming from the side of Almghty, Suna is running himself away as fast as possible, but surprisingly, he did manage to get himself away from all of that danger. But MPL gets himself yet another score onto the side of Sky, despite of how blood-sucking you are and how much spell that you have, you can't stay alive from the side of this show. With a total of 4 kills and 7 assists. Dara doing whatever that he can, just push the opponent's side as much as possible. June, of course, once again, is just right in front of enemies, and the Electro Final Blade is not going to do anything at all as well. But the main thing is, they did manage to defend their initial tower, or rather their inhibitor turret, and that is all good.
Yeah, that's all Jun can do as the Benedetta, which is to clear off the lanes. You look at the bottom fight itself, and Almghty, he actually flickered in onto the Cho, managed to catch onto the core member, Bruno, Adamir, and without Bruno itself, it seems like they can't contest it, because at this moment, they pretty much lost 6k gold lead, and the members of Almghty has to back out. So really good play onto Almghty on that Cho, and right now, onto the bottom lane, the Lord is being spawned, and the members of Notorious Villains are going in for their Lord, and I don't think that Almghty, they can contest this one. Yeah, but what they can do is just farm out the jungle.
This is going to be a sweep for the side of Notorious Villains, and it is one-sided for Almghty in the first game, and I guess that this is also kind of one-sided for the side of Notorious Villains. But exactly, what is the difference? What makes the game so different for Almghty now? This is kind of like the main question that rings in my head.
Well, I think that it is the Rafaela pick composition coming in together with the Eves that is, Rafaela heals back the members, so every time they go into the teamfight itself, Almghty is unable to sustain. But although you can see that they have two members, which is the Yuzhong and the Benedetta, potentially heroes that can go into the backline to aim for squishier heroes like Kolya and Fenrir, but they are unable to do so. And it looks like on the side of the Notorious Villains, Fenrir is going to be popping up the ultimate, and the side of Almghty, they are left with a crack open mid lane.
That is really unfortunate. The Lord is now also down. The Notorious Villain is just going to go head-to-head against Almghty. The middle lane inhibitor turret is down. The top lane inhibitor turret is down as well. The core is pretty much open for Notorious Villains to bring down. And of course, I believe that the next objective is to bring down the inhibitor turret down at the bottom lane. But surprisingly, Granger as well as Cho is still looking to get some more farm for themselves, as very likely they are still not that happy with whatever that they have. But it is 12 minutes in, 5 to 15, and we're looking at close to 12,000 gold advantage that the have. So whatever that they do, even if they were to just jump under the turret's nose of Almghty's inhibitor turrets, I think they will still be able to walk away with a win.
Yeah, right now the bottom lane is being pushed in as Fenrir pops the ultimate, trying to zone the members of the Almghty back in, but it seems like they'll be able to defend this one as Skies goes in with the Black Dragon, but he cannot go in because he doesn't even have the items to be tanky, and it's going to be a 3-man kill on the side of Almghty.
That is going to be GG over to the side of over to Almghty, right? The only player that the Notorious Villains have lost is literally nothing and no one, and now Almghty completely wiped out from the surface of this earth. And Notorious Villains takes this game by the scruff of Almghty's neck. It was an easy game. It was an easier game than what Almghty did in